Hello, this is Yahtzee Crowshaw, and we're doing something different this week. This is Let's Play Fantasy World Dizzy. Here's my good, I hesitated to use the word friend.
Yes, my name's Kaplonk McGillicuddy.
It's Gabriel.
I have a lot of these, man, I keep telling you.
So yes, this is a game I have been quoted as the best game of all time. I said that ironically, because fucking look at it.
It's clearly next gen, isn't it?
Yeah, this is actually the Commodore 64 version, which is the version I grew up with. Dizzy, as you can see, is a happy, flappy chappy who... Sorry, I'm just haunted. Who navigates the world by somersaulting. And as you can see, there's also an adventure game style inventory puzzle system. And
like
that troll is doing his job.
Yeah, this is like from that weird category of like just games that before the genres were so well defined and everything was either this or that or like one of those hybrids that you get occasionally where it was just like, yes, it's a kind of platformer adventure.
Yes, we're now bribing the guard with the apple that we started with. So I'm thinking that
see what he did. I've got no... Oh, is that... Oh, so that green thing's a thing.
Yeah, he gave him an apple, and he now gave us a hint on how to leave.
All right.
So I'm thinking either the guard is retarded, or the guard thinks Dizzy's retarded, and he kind of feels bad.
Well, you just used water on fire, so the fact that Dizzy didn't know how to do that without a hint probably denotes the...
You can actually do that before you use the apple, but the apple has no purpose otherwise.
Huh.
As you see, Dizzy navigates by jumping. He will stop when his feet find purchase, and not before. So if you land like at a weird height or awkwardly, he will continue rolling, and this will be the cause of a great many deaths.
I envisaged much tantrums, and I was going to say controller throwing, but I'm presuming keyboard slamming.
Yes, this was keyboard, though you would have played it with a joystick on the original Commodore 64. I used a keyboard for this emulator, and it has the weirdest fucking controls. It's like Z for left, X for right, Shift for jump, and Enter for inventory.
There isn't, like, a control screen where you can fix this horrible thing?
Not at all, no. Huh. This is before option screens, it's just...
Well, yeah, I mean within the emulator,
I mean... There's a little plug for the previous game in the series. As you can see... From the top of the screen, this is Dizzy 3, the third in the series, Fantasy World Dizzy, after the original Dizzy, The Ultimate Cartoon Adventure, and Treasure Island Dizzy, which was the second.
So this is like the zenith of their graphics technology, then?
Actually, I think in one Dizzy game, they actually made the sky blue, rather than black.
I swear I remember...
And there's an example of rolling too far. This was the main... hazard in these games.
Yeah.
You have no means of defense from anything.
That's a hazard. Like, yeah, that's a pretty genuine hazard.
You have no means of defense and no means of attack.
God, I see what you mean about the general, collision detection and stuff on it.
It is weird. The weird thing about this game is that the technology of having a platform you could jump up from underneath and land on as you came down. That was alien technology to the Commodore 64 in this game specifically. So everything is either solid or it isn't. And there is absolutely no visual cue that will help you realize which is which. Now, you'll notice we're collecting coins. There are a total of 30 coins in the game. We have to collect them to get the proper ending, and we have to collect all of them.
Well, I'll be damned. Multiple endings back in the old Commodore 64 days.
I know, right? This is, as I said...
A trailblazer, Dizzy. You're a trailblazer.
This is, as I said, one of my favourite games in the Dizzy series, because this is where we get some, backstory on Dizzy, his personality, and the people he lives with. This is his friend, Denzel, who is also an egg.
Well, it makes sense that he were an egg.
Well, as is the tradition with this sort of thing, like the Smurfs, every member of Dizzy's friends, the Yoke Folk, has only one character trait. And Denzel's character trait is that he's cool. He's a cool dude. And he's giving us back a rope.
Dude, no, this is 80s. He's rad.
Yeah, he's rad.
He's fucking radical.
He's got a Walkman on. You can't really tell with the graphics, but that is not wearing...
No, I picked it up. And he's sporting shades as well. They need to be full big wraparounds.
Yeah, and he's not wearing a judge's wig. Those are headphones.
Is every corner of this building on fire? Should there not be... do not the Yoke Folk have a concept of not having things burning?
This isn't where the Yoke Folk live.
Oh, right.
This is the evil castle of the Troll King, who has captured Dizzy, and Denzel's just hanging out there because he's so cool.
Well, imagine if I was abducted and I managed to escape just using my own gumption. And then I get halfway out and you're just sitting in the lounge room with the people who abducted me having tea. And I'd be like, dude, what the hell were you doing? It's like, just hanging out here with the people who abducted you.
Hey, Gabe, where have you been?
What do you mean, where have I been? I've been downstairs tied to a chair, you ass. You and your wraparound shades.
Yes, this is a good example of blocks being either moved through or not. The top 2 stairs of that bottom flight are solid, the rest are not.
I love that's something you just don't see much these days, is a primary puzzle of the game is working out what the fuck the developers were thinking in doing this stuff. Like,
oh yes, and there's actually a puzzle themed around the block ambiguity, which we'll get to later.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. That sounds like so much fun.
Oh, it really isn't. But so Dizzy at the moment can only carry 2 inventory items at a time, because he's only got 2 hands. What do you want, man? That item there, that bottle, that is one of 2 fuck you items in the game, so we're not going to pick that up right now. We'll explain what it does later.
So can you... I'm guessing there's also no ability to just drop an item.
You can drop items.
But then it's gone forever?
But no, it stays there, but I'll explain it later.
I'll be damned, I thought it was going to...
So this is one of the timing platforming puzzles. And this is what the rope that Denzel enters is for.
To tie the gator shut?
Yeah, and I think Denzel would be pleased that it's being used in such a cool manner.
Hell yeah, man.
And there's a dragon that way, so we're going to fucking scalp her. So the reason why we came over here at this point is for a boulder.
You always need boulders.
Yes. Specifically, we need 3 boulders, and we can only carry 2.
Right now.
We can only carry 2, and that's the problem.
This reminds me of the joy of playing like classic Resident Evil.
So we threw that lever that opens the portcullis, but it goes up and down by itself. This is another timing puzzle. If you just walk into it like that, you die because you touched the bottom spikes of the portcullis. Yeah. So we'll just reload a save there. The original game wouldn't have had saves. The original game, you only have 3 lives.
And then it told you to fuck off, go back to the start.
Yep.
See, for younger viewers, that was a thing that used to happen. There was no such thing as auto-saving. There was no such thing as...
In Treasure Island Dizzy, it was even worse. You only had 1 life.
God damn. Well, I mean, that's another weird thing about like the concept of an adventure game with lives.
This is where I fuck up. Because I forget I can only carry 2 items. And as I try to go in there to pick up that rock and use an item, my inventory overloads, then I panic, and the pig thing kills me. What you're supposed to do is...
I'm going to call that a rhinoceros swine.
It's called Armorog. You can see along the top of the screen, that's Armorog's den. So while we pick up this boulder, we have to drop the bone, specifically drop it so that we use it as an item, and that will cause Armorog to go in there and stay there.
And then you can lock him in with another boulder? Or he just stays with the bone?
No, he just stays with the bone, because it's a really nice bone. And in the next... I check my inventory randomly now and then, because the check inventory button is also the pick up button. There was only 1 button on the Commodore 64 controller.
So yeah, you're not sure what you're actually supposed to be picking up, or at least I wouldn't.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are a lot of seemingly background objects in the game that actually have coins behind them. We picked one up earlier that we didn't mention. I picked up a piece of railing that there was a coin behind. So that's one of the many fuck yous in this game. So here's what the blocks are for. We're gonna get past this obstacle with science.
I see.
We drop rocks into this pool of water. It displaces what must be pretty fucking big rocks. With a 3rd rock, we will be able to fall onto that platform and jump onto the far side.
Oh, well, that's nice. I mean, I suppose this was back when like games had an educational component.
This is another like timing puzzle. If there's not a cloud between you and that bird, he will swoop down and eat your ass. Eat your eggy ass.
This it sort of reminds me of I Want to Be the Guy, like just where just stuff will kill you, and there would have been no honest way for you to predict that eventuality.
Well, that's how we liked games back in my day.
Yeah. Death, pain, and torment.
Incidentally, you're probably wondering why Dizzy is an egg.
I have, the thought has occurred.
Well, for pretty much the same reason that Mario looks the way he does, because you have so few pixels to work with at this stage in gaming that you can only go for like certain details or really weird exaggerated bodies.
That bow was pretty well done though.
I mean, there was another game published by Codemasters called Seymour Goes to Hollywood, and a couple of other Seymour games where the character, again, was just a big white blob. But in this case, they designed a blob and they realized he looked like an egg, so they just ran with it. He's an egg, he's a member of the yolk folk, or the albumen, as I call them.
I actually quite like that one.
Now, here's where all that, some boxes are transparent and some are not, starts becoming the big issues.
Oh, that's
because
fantastic.
We have to navigate this warehouse. Well, first of all, we have to get on top of this wall for reasons that will soon become clear. There was an Amiga version for this game that solves a lot of the technology problems, but this is the one I grew up with, so this is the one we're playing, and fuck you. Another, dastardly hidden coin there. I think coins probably grow on clouds because they're everywhere. No. There's a hole there, but we won't go down there just yet because we've got stuff to do past the warehouse.
I can honestly say I would never have beaten this game in my youth. I'd have gotten like maybe past the first screen and then said, fuck this, fuck everything about this.
Would you have wanted to finish it? Well, when I got this was like the only game I had. This is the only game I had to play. Yeah. Oh, are you ready for another fuck you?
Yeah.
Because it's coming soon. Ready? Fuck you!
That's fucking this.
That slightly dislodged plank is a hole.
Eat dicks, go back to the start. I just hope you really, really enjoy the gameplay.
Retro gaming. And this is another of our yoke folk pals. This is Dozy. Can you see the theme in their names?
I'm guessing he's a meth head.
You know, that did occur to me that you could explain a lot by saying that every member of the yoke folk represents some kind of substance abuse.
I suppose, yeah, you'd have your barbiturates and your heavy sedatives.
Yeah, I reckon Denzel's on coke because that's the cool
it's the coolest of drugs.
Anyway,
it is so fun.
Dozy, appropriately enough, gives a sleeping potion, and just like Denzel, he refuses to come join us in... I haven't actually explained what the main plot of this game is yet, have we? Because this was the days when the plot was only explained in like a little booklet that came in the box.
That's something I've been thinking about game booklets lately, because I was at a friend's house the other day going through, and he's one of those... I was one of the people who was poor, so every time a new generation of game system came out...
Easter egg! If you use Dozy again, you knock him in the water. In some versions of the game, he floats off to the left and is never seen again.
I hope he drowns.
Well, he appears in later games.
Damn.
So that puts paid to that. But yes, the actual plot of this game is that Dizzy was kidnapped by the Troll King, put in the dungeon, and his lovely girlfriend, Daisy, who is also an egg, was captured by the evil wizard. You want to know what two characters you never meet in this game?
Daisy and the evil wizard?
No, you meet Daisy.
Oh,
you obviously meet Daisy. This is the puzzle I was talking about. But never in this game do either the Troll King or the evil wizard make an appearance. At all. Basically, they've like locked you both up, and then they've both gone off on holiday together. Now, this is the amazing illusion, which I've sped up for obvious reasons. Because
I love how to you as a child this was deemed fun.
You basically just thought this wasn't even fun for me as a child. Yeah. I used to like dread going down here.
It's like when a regular adventure game that uses like logic puzzles or like just inventory puzzles will suddenly have like a complicated block slidey puzzle because I hate those things, and every time I get to one of those I'm just like
this is barely a puzzle.
It's not. No, it's just
some of these blocks are solid, some of them are not. The most intuitive path possible is the path that leads out. And fell down to the bottom again. After a while, I get bored and cut out a bit.
Yeah, fuck that. Well, it's your fault for going after all these damn coins anyway.
Well, we need them to win. And
I bet it's a single line of disappointing text.
I wish I hadn't said that. But we will see the purpose for the coins later.
Oh, so it actually has a purpose. It's not just you got coins.
No, you have to. It's not just for 100% completion.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, that's nice. But see, that's what I mean. Like, that bird's pretty well done, considering. I mean, that's...
Well, if you say so.
Well, it looks like a bird.
Kind of looks like a bog roll on wings to me.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, as I said, this was one of the very first games I had. This was like I remember the first time I played this game, I got into a panic because I couldn't figure out how to control it because Dizzy just bounced randomly into fires. And then I realized caps lock was on. And of course the shift button was to jump. So now we have what we need to get past the evil dragon.
Really?
Yes. We have the sleeping potion.
Oh, the sleeping potion. All right.
Yes. But first, there's a couple of things we have to get. There are 4 golden keys in the game that have a specific purpose. Cruelly, at this point, we only have 2 inventory items, so we have to...
Can you pick up a satchel that will improve that later?
Well, funny you should mention that.
Oh.
This is like the only RPG element in the game, is that you can pick up...
You can level up your satchel.
Yes, you can level up your satchel. If you try to talk to Denzel again, he's turned up his toe and is not ignoring you because he's a cunt.
These are your friends in the castle that you got taken to after you were abducted.
Well, I guess they...
High as shit and ignoring you.
I think the implication is that the yoke folk lead a sort of hedonistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear with the rest of the characters we'll meet later.
I want to make like a modern version of this where it just clearly is like friends of ours on drugs just laying about the place where I've been abducted and taken to. Just to, like, I want to take these like sort of, background premises, like, of these things, and that's just what the game is.
Well, there has been news lately that new Dizzy games are being developed for iOS devices by the original developers, who were the Oliver twins, Philip and Andrew Oliver, who made about, I think it was 7 games, 7 Dizzy games for the Codemasters publisher and a couple of other games, and marvel at the interconnectedness of all things, because the Oliver twins later formed a company called Interactive Studios that would later change its name to Blaze Studios, and a subdivision of that studio, the Adult Games subdivision of that studio, created a little game called Dead to Rights Retribution, which was a game I reviewed on Zero Punctuation quite recently.
Wow.
It's another timing puzzle to get past the dragon, just to get close enough and dump the sleeping potion in his face. I think these descriptions of your actions make you sound a hell of a lot more dynamic than you actually are.
Well, it was like, ancient Greek theater when they didn't have, anything they could do for special effects. All those stories of war would be told by someone returning from the battlefield and describing amazing battle sequences.
I love that you're comparing Fantasy World Dizzy to ancient Greek drama.
Well,
why, this could have been written by Aeschylus himself.
You'd be surprised, man. That's why I hate all the high art, low art debate that goes on between,
this dragon just does not give a shit anymore. Look, I'm just going to jump all over his body. Here's the bag anyway. Here's the bag.
Hey.
We can now carry 4 items at a time. Crazy, right?
I love how his idle animation is just this persistent, dead-eyed spasm at you.
And there's a coin behind this clump of leaves, I suddenly remembered. You might have noticed that sometimes there's a bit of a graphical fuck-up when you put items back down. Yes. And that's because I think inventory items and coins are in this game basically background objects and presumably on the same layer as the background. So if you try to put down an inventory object pretty much anywhere that isn't a plain black background, it vanishes. It becomes a mess. It becomes an absolute mess.
The game has a brain cramp.
Well, this is why we need the 4 keys. Each key goes into one of those consoles and they activate an elevator somewhere in the world. We're actually currently in the Yokefolk village, which is apparently right next to the Troll King's castle. So,
well, saves everyone a lot of trouble, really.
Location.
I can't explain how many times I've been abducted by my neighbors.
I know, right? We really seem to have been abducted for really unspecific reasons, these characters. Just to, have them. Yeah. Because, if there was a creature like Dizzy going around, you'd want him as a kind of curio, wouldn't you?
Yeah. If I saw a sentient egg wandering about, I'd pick it up and take it away with me.
Keep him in a cage. Yeah. Something I forgot to mention. The developers of Dead to Rights Retribution, Volatile Games, which is a subset of Blaze Studios, they're actually based in Warwickshire, England. Which was
this is the stoner character. I knew it the second I saw his hat. I was like, this guy, Dylan. Yep, Bob Dylan. Weed.
Yeah, he's the easy one.
That's fuck.
He's the weed smoker. He's full of wisdom, but he also doesn't lift a finger to help.
That is, that's to a T.
And now Dylan seems to be in a trance. That's quite a subversive drug gag for a kid's game. But yes, the Volatile Games that made Dead to Rights Retribution are based in Warwickshire, England, which was where the county I grew up in. So again, marvel at the interconnectedness of all things. And marvel again at the real estate decisions of the Yokefolk, because they've built their village right between the Troll King's castle and an active volcano.
I want to meet the real estate agent that managed to hawk that one off.
I don't think they're particularly bright.
Well, to be fair, if I was half tore up on all those drugs all the time, I probably wouldn't give a rat's ass where I was, really.
And if you had a chicken fetus inside yourself. And he's always smiling, Dizzy. You may have noticed on a few of the death animations, when his body shrinks away to nothing, it's still got a smile on its face. It's like one of those retards, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, that's my suspicion is, Dizzy is the high on life character. He's like one of those Mormons or one of those religious people that's just creepily happy about everything all the time.
Well, he's high on something.
Well, I'm guessing life. I think that's...
I'm thinking he's a caffeine man. Look at the way he flaps.
That's a good one. Just like his coffee in the mornings. Then he watches his sunrise program.
Every key goes into a specific console, and I just lucked out by randomly picking the correct ones here. The elevator jumped there because I cut out me save stating like a bitch with the emulator.
Screw that, man. Like, going back through playing, like, ancient games like
by
this
the way,
on the emulator.
Fuck you! If you jump in the elevator, you die. You get mashed up in the cogs.
This is worse than, like, those old Sierra adventure games where it was just legitimately click the right thing or die.
I know, right? First King's Quest, you could die by walking 2 steps in the wrong direction at the very start of the game. I remember that quite fun. You'd be eaten by alligators. It was not a gentle death.
Space Quest 1.
Yeah.
Fucking Space Quest 1. Fucking, what is it, CGA graphics and a type interface that hated you. And the worst part was, and this is why like I'm a reasonably quick typist these days, is they'd have speed typing challenges. Like you had to type walk onto this and then type jump like within a split second.
Yeah.
Screw that up and guess what? You get mangled up in a meat grinder.
Of course, in later Sierra games, they had an engine where the game actually paused when you type stuff in. That kind of broke the difficulty for me.
And then finally they just said, fuck it, click on stuff.
So, bet you're wondering what's down this hole. It's another dragon.
Oh, awesome. This one's green. This one's green, Yahtzee.
And the elevator for this one is the only one we haven't yet unlocked. So we'll come back to that and continue marching. What do you think of Dizzy 3 so far?
It looks like a real indicative game of its era. Like, you know, it's very much it's from its time.
Yeah, that's a pretty diplomatic way to put it, isn't it?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure for its time it was enjoyable.
Fuck
Jesus.
you.
It says it also. Still, for this era, there were games that were more fun.
Actually, in the next Dizzy game, you see that little white thing?
Nope.
That little white circle thing? In the middle?
Oh, wait, yeah.
That is the second of the game's 2 fuck you items. I'll be exploring those at the end of the game when being fucked over no longer matters.
That's...
We're carrying a small cow, just pointing that out. Now, the reason why I'm, like, checking my inventory on every single window...
One of them's a coin?
Yeah, one of them, you can take the window frame down, and there's a coin there.
See,
and I've remembered where it is now, because I haven't played this game in a while, but something's just come back to me. I remember it's on Daisy's empty hut.
The fact that you remember how to finish this game at all is astonishing.
Oh, I played the fuck out of these games when I was a kid. I remember it being longer than it is here, probably because it completely kicked my ass all the way through.
Well, when you do the first stage 1,000 times over, it starts to make the game seem like a fucking fantasy epic.
I remember starting it like 1,000,000 times and finished it once.
Yeah, because I didn't start getting into adventure gaming and stuff until kind of into the SNES era. Like, I had zero patience for a game that didn't say, you're this, hit or shoot that, off you go, son. Like, I liked action games.
You're a Link to the Past, man.
Link to the Past was probably the first adventure game I finished, and then I jumped from that straight to Chrono Trigger.
Right.
And then I just fell in love with Chrono Trigger.
Very nearly died by fire there.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is the last of the Yoke folk we're going to find. Well, besides Daisy, this is Grand Dizzy. His gimmick is that he's old. And we found a door knocker here. For some reason.
Is age a drug? Maybe they're saying, something about dementia and the ravages of time.
Maybe he's on Viagra.
Yeah.
Now...
Is he hard-boiled?
Now, the interesting thing about Grand Dizzy is that he's the only member of the Yoke folk who actually wants to help you.
And too bad he's too old and infirm to do anything about it.
He actually offers help, as he will in a second, and Dizzy just completely throws it back in his face. Dizzy is the one being the complete cunt in this conversation.
Well, thanks
for offering, but I think you should stay here, dear. Pat his little hand.
Yeah.
And then Grand Dizzy just wants to tell him a lesson from his childhood, and Dizzy just tunes him out.
Take this crowbar, and hasn't that become a massive thing in gaming these days?
Yeah, this is what started it all, man.
This
is the first game with a crowbar in it.
First game with a crowbar.
Actually, I don't know if it's the first game with a crowbar in it.
I'm willing to go out on a limb and bet that it is the first game with a crowbar in it.
It's certainly the first game with a pygmy cow in it.
Earthworm Jim carried that tradition on later.
That wasn't a pygmy cow, though.
Was it full size? Oh, yeah, it was.
I think so, yeah.
That was a weird game.
Dizzy, I'm so dizzy, my head